Don't make this $435,000 Social Security mistake, part 2. Jane is back. Just got off the horn with her today. Of course, Jane's not her name. You don't know who she is. But I share with you, with her, how many people were helped by her situation. And she gave me the permission to use her information. Obviously, I'm not identifying her, but is helpful because she thought it was great to be able to help people. A lot of single women, widows, and divorcees, and single men too, by the way, divorcees. But this one actually hits home to me. All right, so Jane's background is she was raised in the South. Mom and dad were just literally laborers. Mom was a waitress. Dad, I don't know what he did, but he was, doing something, not making much money. They lived in a single trailer, not a double wide, because nowadays these double wides are actually kind of nice. This is just a single trailer in a southern town. Never had any money. The folks never saved money. You might own your home, but if it's a trailer, there's no equity in there. I mean, you're certainly not taking a second mortgage against it. I'll tell you that right now. I can't imagine you getting a reverse mortgage on a mobile home. It's not going to happen. So Jane, when she's talking, she goes, I can't. She was stunned at how far she had come from her background. And she goes, I can't believe it. The fact that she is going to go to retirement with in this predicament is a good predicament. She was stunned because she was never raised with any money, never know what money was, and just worked hard, kept her head down, and now here she is. And she obviously she's not wealthy, but emotionally she is, spiritually she is. There's an old song by a guy named David Allan Coe that says, "If that ain't country," and you might have heard that song before. And it predates all this new stuff here, so it's probably from the early '60s maybe. And he uses a word that no white person should ever use ever. And I'd never understood the idea. People can say it, why can I? Why would you ever want to? It's weird. And so a lot of people say, David Allan Coe, he's a racist. And he's not. He's just, it's the old school way people taught back then. And I mean, to use today's society to judge people from this is stupid. Anyway, I always like this one line. He goes, "We had 50 holes in our old tin roof. Me and my family was living proof. People who had forgot about poor white trash. And if that ain't country, I'll kiss your ass." Just such a good song. It's such a good song. And the reason it hits home to me because Jane's husband left, just up and left. Similar scenario for me. Now, my dad did end up moving in, my dad, but the same thing. When you left a young boy to fend for himself, essentially, you got Jane, a single mom, because the dad says, "Look, I know he just up and left, knowing that the kids would be taken care of by the wife." And I'm not gonna lie, that pisses me off. It pisses me off, something wicked that a man could just allow his kids to be thrown out there to the wolves and to have his ex-wife provide and protect. A woman's job is to provide. A man's job is to protect. It's all there is to it. I don't care what you think about it. And if you're leaving your kids at bay under the auspices that your wife is going to take care of them, you might take care of them providing, but they're not taking care of them protection. It's not. That's what a man's job is. And I just look at her, Jane's son, who is 6 years old, and she's telling me that, she still carries some anger about this guy just up and leaving. He still does. And I know it. I know it well. I fight that all the time. All the time. Because when you got no money and you're living freaking hand to mouth or whatever the hell it is, and you got no protection in a man around you, it's a battlefield for a young boy, for sure. It's a battlefield for the spouse too. I mean, in this case, Jane. And woman, because they can't do that role. Their role is, they do to the best they can, but not to the same extent that a man can. And then you hear, all these people saying white privilege and stuff, and a whole lot of people, poor white trash out there, my friends. And look, I come from it. I don't have any hesitation whatsoever of acknowledging my background. It doesn't bother me in the least, because if I didn't have that, I would not be where I am today. And it's funny, as we were talking to Jane, I said, isn't it odd? I've come across many people who are raised in wealth, and they go the way of, they lose it. It's weird. And then I cross across many people raised and with no wealth, and they become fine. And again, it doesn't have to be, physically or whatever abundantly with millions of dollars, but they're just doing fine. It's just weird. It's almost like this this dynamic that if you come from money, you're used to it, you don't value it as much as if you don't. And this whole thing about ownership, by the way, when you own something, protect it more, which is why socialism will never work, because if you don't own it, you won't take care of it. When you own it, you take care of it. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting, and it always touches my heart to hear these stories that are, you might be in San Francisco or Boston or New York or Washington, D.C., and you might not have ever come across a white family that's poor. Might not have ever. But let me tell you something, man. You want to go through the rural area of Maine, all right? You want to go through any state other than, your little tiny little bubble. You're going to find a lot of people who are poor, not just white, but just given, we're talking about this lady here. I think it needs to be said again and again that just because you're born in the U.S. and you have this color skin doesn't make everything given to you on a silver platter. And if you think it does, you just don't know what you're talking about. And I think it also needs to be said too, is if you're a man, you have an obligation to provide for your children. Absolutely. And that should be your first priority, is to provide for your children, protect them. If you just up and leave, you're no good in my eyes. That's all there is to it. None at all. And I take that seriously, and I take it heartfelt, because it affects me and affects people downstream. It's not just you. You did the deed to get the mom pregnant. You need to stay by that thing. And the action you took, you can't just up and leave. All right, enough of that. Let's go on to this here. So, but Josh, this is supposed to be a YouTube channel about whatever. I don't care. I'm going to go on a tangent if I feel like it, and you can take it for what it is. Me and my family were living proof that people had forgot about old poor white trash, and if that ain't country, I kiss your ass. That doesn't you think that's gone today? You think there's not still poor white trash out there? And I say white trash as a term of endearment. I don't say it negatively. I say a term of endearment. It says, look, unfortunately, a lot of these people are they're doing stuff they shouldn't be doing, of all races. That's why they're poor. But there are a lot of hardworking people out there who are fighting every day, just like Jane's parents were. Let's not let this happen to you. All right, so here's Jane. So we got the numbers on Social Security. It's pretty close to what I thought. Her ex-husband, who has since died, wasn't making as much in Social Security as I had thought, but her benefits pretty much spot on. So I'm just going to share it here with you real quick. And again, we got Jane, Tennessee, because we're going to say she lives in a tax-free state in the South. And what we have here, again, she doesn't have much. Doesn't have much in whose eyes is that? If you live in the United States, that might not be much, but you live in every other country in the world, that's significant. So I don't want to say, minimize, like doesn't have much, as if it's nothing, as if it's just, freaking yesterday's toilet paper. So she got roughly $64,000, roughly $150,000 in her IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, and she got a house worth $180,000. So her total net worth is $344,000. She'll never get married again. It sounds like she's not even all that inclined to get dating again. But here's the interesting thing. What does she need to live on? And this is what our goals are. And she needs only $2,000 a month. And then she has $4,000 a month in health costs. And then she's going to spend about $5,000 a year on vacation. So she's $4,000 a year in health costs, $5,000 a year on vacation, $2,000 a month retirement expenses. So the question was, should she do Roth conversions? And absolutely unequivocally no. And I'll show you here why in just a second. Should she take her Social Security as opposed to her survivor benefit? No. And I'm going to show you exactly what happens when she takes her survivor benefit. So you can see she has a 100% probability of success. They're going to leave a significant amount of money of liquid assets to her kids, which is great. She has 2 kids. Let's say, though, she doesn't spend $2,000 a month. And this is invested 100% stocks, by the way, because we said your house, your pension, and your Social Security are more than enough to live on. You should be in stocks. And she agreed with that. Now, she can change that, whatever she wants to do. But house, pension, Social Security that's going to cover your income for as far as the eye can see. So you can certainly take the risk of the markets over time for sure. And she recognized that. All right, so let's say we change it from $2,000 a month to $3,000 a month. So a 50% increase in our out-of-pocket cash flow on a monthly basis. And what you'll see here drops it down to 99%. Yeah, but you can see she's leaving a little bit, about $1 million less to the heirs, but I mean, that doesn't include her home, and she's not going to spend $3,000 a month for the rest of her life, because when you show the cash flows scenario, you're saying here's her expenses. $43,000 this year, $44,000. We keep going up in every year until she's 78, $64,000. When she's 88, it's $88,000. You see what I'm saying? So that's the issue I take with the 4% rule and all the scenarios that think you're going to have a linear expenditure. Just not. Now, we did stop the goals. We're going to stop when she's 20 years from now at 85, so she won't go on those $5,000 a year vacations. But was a $5,000 a year vacation in 2020 is an $8,700 a year vacation in 2039 because of inflation. And she still has tax payments. So what you'll see here is you'll see if we go to expenses, she has health care, housing, and living expenses. This is at $3,000 a month, by the way, because we just use that. So we're saying, look, Jane, it's going to cost you $43,000 a year in total expenses, but it's actually going to cost more than that because she has tax payments and she has that goal. So it's going to cost her this amount for total expenses, housing, healthcare, and living expenses, plus the $5,000 goal that she has, plus the taxes. So it's going to cost her $52,486 in total expenses. But she only has $33,000 coming in. Her income flows are from where? Are from her spousal or her survivor benefit, Social Security. Remember, it's the survivor benefit. It's 100% of the benefit that that her ex-husband had when he died, plus her pension. Both of these grow at a cost of living. The pension is 3%. I have Social Security growing at 2.6. So she only has $33,000 coming in. So then the question is, well, where does the rest of the money come from? And I'll show you. It's going to be accounts. Oops. Let's just go here, blink, and it's going to be withdrawals from accounts. She's going to take that from her 401k. So she's withdrawing basically $100,000 over the next 5 years from the 401k to make up the expenditures that she's going to have. And again, this assumes $3,000 a month, by the way, not $2,000, $3,000 a month. So we'll just run with this here anyway. And what we'll see here is when we go to net worth, when she dies, she'll have $734,000 in net worth, of which $295,000 is her home, $163,000 will be in her 401k, in this case 403b, and $275,000 in her taxable account. And you might be saying, well, how does she have so much money in her taxable account? Well, watch. So now, when she hits 70, her net flow has jumped from $37,000 to $61,000. Anyone want to take a gander why? Because that Social Security kicks in on her own benefit with her delayed earnings credit. So now she's getting not just at 8%, and this is what she emailed me. She goes, Josh, you're right on about my PIA, but they have you significantly less than what you did on my Social Security benefit if I take it at 70. The reason is because they don't have it with cost of living adjustments. They don't. Now, I use 2.6 because that's what the trustees report says. I don't know if that's going to come to fruition or not. We don't know, but you got to use something. It'd be stupid not to have a COLA because there are COLA. So we're using 2.6, and we're saying, look, with the 8% a year delayed earnings credits, that's what her Social Security will be come, well, not just all that, but this is what her Social Security will be come when she hits 70. So it's going to jump from $16,000 to $39,000, about a 200 and odd percentage increase simply because of delayed earnings credits. Now, with her pension, which is also growing, she has $62,000 just coming in from pension and Social Security. That right there, my friends, is more than enough, with including the taxes that she has, where she's actually got $6,200 every year in net cash flows, and she's going to have RMDs. So both these things, her RMDs at $4,100 plus her net cash flows, are going back to be reinvested into her taxable account, which when she dies, she'll leave that to her kids, tax-free. So if I show you, accounts, and we're going to go addition to accounts, and here comes her, let's see, hold on a sec. Net cash flows. So here comes her accounts that she's going right here. So you can see she's adding 6,000, 5,000, 5,000. I guess she's actually spending her RMDs. Either way, she's adding quite a bit of money to these taxable accounts to the extent that when she's dead, she's going to have $275,000 in the taxable accounts. And we're going to assume it's invested the same way as it is with the S&P 500 index. And you can see the addition to accounts. Actually, not addition. We want to RMD. So you see the 403B, get the RMD. So here's what's it's a little bit confusing, but you got the 40,000 and she's not spending the RMD. She's actually reinvesting it. I don't know why they put it here, but anyway, they're saying, let me move myself out of the way. My big old hairy face. She's taking out $4,189 for required minimum distribution. That money is going right back in the taxable account. I don't know why they don't say that's additions, but they're using RMDs and they're saying where is it going? It's going back to the taxable account. She takes $67.94 out as an RMD. It's going back to the taxable account. So you got that money plus the net flows, which is this right here. And she's adding, in the low 5 figures to that taxable account each and every year. So when she dies, the only thing her kids are going to have to pay tax on would be this small amount right here, $163,000 that's in the 401k. The house transfer is tax-free. The taxable accounts transfer tax-free. And she's just doing fine. This is spending $3,000 a month too, which again is 50% higher than what she said. So she's doing great, and so it's fantastic. So that's the way to do it. If she didn't take her social security, so let's just look here real quick. I want to go back to. Bear with me just 1 second. We're going to go back to estate. I just want to look at net worth. So when she dies, she'll have a net worth of $734. All right, now let's go back to Social Security, where she just takes her own. She doesn't have the survivor benefit, so we'll get rid of survivor benefit. We'll zero that out. And we'll save that guy, and we're going to get her Social Security, and we're going to take it right now. We're going to take it as 64. That's based on our PIA. So let's see, what did we say? 734 was what it was before, and let's take a look now. It might be even harder time to make it worthwhile. Yeah, look at that. Her retirement plan drops to 24%. Her success because of that $3,000 that she's taken. But anyway, so we're saying her net worth would be at her death $295. So there's still, that's at the end of the day. This is a little bit because we're using 3,000 as opposed to 2,000 we started with. But there you go. That's a significant difference, man. That was what, 734 versus there's still again $400,000. Convince me. I'm convinced that she should take her Social Security, take her spousal benefit or a survivor benefit later, and then her own benefit with delayed earnings credits. Hope you are too. If you got comments, questions, concerns, put them in the show notes. Love to hear them. And again, thanks to Miss Jane for allowing us to share her plight. It's a good plight, a very wonderful woman, and hopefully you can learn something from that. You don't have to be rich to be successful. Let's just put it that way. You don't have to come from money to be successful in retirement. Jane's got a pool. She got 2 kids she loves dearly. She's going to go on vacation. She's happy as a clam. It's great, and she doesn't have to go back to work in a job that's grinding on her. Now, if she wants to go back to work part-time and some, over the holidays, she can, but life is good. All right, we'll see you next time.